we are getting into some things. Wendy Williams made her return, albeit briefly, to radio today. She did a series of interviews, and we're going to get into the conversation, what Wendy had to share. Uh, she also dropped her opinion and thoughts on the P. Diddy trial, so we're going to get into that. And just, I really want to talk about the balance and kind of what led us to this position with Wendy. It's so complicated. And I mean, really, could you find yourself in this position? I know Wendy has millions of dollars, maybe. You know, there's a lot happening there. We don't know if it's still there. No, I'm sure it is. But it's just, it's really a really tragic thing to see someone that was so much a legend as far as you think about radio onto TV. And she discussed a bit about that and her feelings about TV and so forth and where she wants to go now. This morning, Wendy did a series of interviews, not only with The Breakfast Club, she also spoke with Don Lemon and Jason Lee, which I believe Jason will be dropping his interview tomorrow. And basically, Wendy wanted to discuss, although some of the conversation, I guess, was kind of in code due to legal situations that are happening, but to discuss her guardianship, the conservatorship that she is currently under, where she is at as far as her mental capacities and what is happening to her. Her niece Alex was on the line with her, sort of representing her family to also share what they have been going through and what they are trying to do for her, and to also interject in moments where Wendy herself could not explain the situation. I'm assuming due to legal reasons and not because of incapacity, but that is sort of the setup for where we find ourselves. So, Wendy, Don Lemon said that Wendy told him that she wanted Charlamagne to have the first spot because obviously they have history together. And so I'm going to play a bit from both interviews for you to have a chance to hear how Wendy sounds currently and sort of make your own judgment. Of course, you can go and watch the full interviews, but of where she's at and just talk a little bit about this. So she claimed that she is only allotted a very small portion of her funds, that if she wants to go to Sephora, they call ahead to Sephora, and she's very limited on what she can have. They'll go and get it for her. And sometimes she said she's particular, for example, with the type of water she drinks, and they will not adhere to that, that she feels as though she is in jail. The way that she explains it, she has a phone that she can call out, but no one can directly call and reach her. She's given several pills to take a day. She says she is not aware as to what they all are. The room that she is in, though supposedly the facility is nice, but she can't get out. Um, it's very small. She's not getting to go outside and get daylight, according to her niece. Um, there's a TV in there. Wendy is pretty lonely, from what it sounds like. Lauren LaRosa, who was a guest here on KBLA with me. I was going to say here, but it's RSVP, same thing. She came in and she's now on the Breakfast Club, but she mentioned that she went to go visit Wendy and she was on FaceTime with Wendy, walked in. They sort of pushed her off initially, told her to wait after she had signed in, saw Wendy was on the phone, and then someone came downstairs and said that Wendy Williams wasn't there and that she needed to leave. And so there is a lot happening in this situation. Shout out to Forensic Accountant in the chat. Thank you for locking in. And so we are going to hear what Wendy broke down as far as what is happening to her via her court appointed guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, and who is responsible for all of her financial dealings. And she also accused Morrissey of profiting off of her, kind of alluding to the fact that some of the perks of being her guardian are that she has control over all of her finances, and there is a salary for that. Wendy says that she is unaware how much that is and what is happening. So let's take a listen to Wendy in her own words. This is from her interview with Don Lemon this morning.
Listen. And not only that, I only have like $15. This guardian person is keeping my money trapped, so to speak. She has all of my money. You understand what I'm saying? All of the freedom that I want. You know what I'm saying? And through my money, for instance, I would like to go to Sephora. You know what I'm saying? So what the guardian person does is she will call up Sephora, because that's where I want to go, and then I'll be able to buy stuff through my money that this girl, it's a woman, this guardian person. You understand what I'm saying? Do you know my guardian?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, Wendy. So where your money is being held, do you still have money in an account somewhere?
Excuse me. No. Look, my money is, I have good money. I worked all of my goddamn life. My thing about being in New York is I want to work in New York until I have enough money and enough of what I've done in New York that it's now time to fly and live in Miami for the rest of my life. And that's always what I wanted to do, right, Alex? And it worked out perfectly, I stopped doing my show on TV, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh, it's now time to stop because my money is great money, you know what I mean?
I understand that. People are going to say, well, why does this woman want to, have Wendy in a guardianship? And is she protecting you in some way? Do you believe?
First of all, she's making money off me.
How so?
Alex, can you please talk?
How is she making money off of you?
Well, you're my guardian, so you're making money off of me. Like for instance, when I was in Miami there's some legality things that I am not confident to talk so much about. But Alex,
So that's just part of her 15-minute, I believe, conversation it was with Don Lemon. She also, as I mentioned, had a conversation with The Breakfast Club, and there's an upcoming conversation with Jason Lee. Now, for me, in listening to that and The Breakfast Club, and I listened to both of them in completion, though she does sound competent, I don't know if I believe that she sounds fully well. Now the question becomes, is she not well enough to take care of herself without this guardianship? And it's kind of hard to say. They've come out and said that she has dementia related to her alcohol abuse and some other health issues, which she talked about, her thyroid condition and so forth. But it's also important that we note of kind of what led us to this point with Wendy, because she's been under this for the last 3 years. What allegedly got Wells Fargo, that is her bank's, attention was her son's spending habits while Wendy was ill. Her son was in Florida, where most of her family is, in college, and he had a really large monthly rent for a townhouse in Miami. There were large Uber Eats orders, et cetera, and looking at the spending patterns, for whatever reason, they felt that she was being taken advantage of due to her illness, and so they went to court to get this conservatorship. What it also implies, without being said, is that the other members of the family, for whatever reason, they don't feel are fit to care for Wendy. And a lot of this from both ends seems to be financially motivated.